Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Discipleship, where we encourage you to be an everyday disciple maker, where you live, learn, work, and play. We want to give you tools. We want to encourage you how to go out and love your neighbor, go out and have spiritual conversations. And we hope that this podcast can encourage and just challenge you to do something different. As you know, we're in this series right now called The Gospel on the Go, where we want to help you to integrate disciple making into your travel, your vacations, and all of your summer activities. So we're doing these short, kind of quick podcasts so you can listen to them while you're on the road, while you're driving to Hershey Park or Kennywood or Six Flags, or maybe if you're going out west. We don't know where you're going. We don't know what beach you're going to, but we do know that wherever you're going, Jesus already is, and he wants to use you and even help you practice some of these tools. So with me today is my good friend Jonathan. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll dig into a tool or two. But I've known Jonathan now for a few years, and I'm excited to have him as the one I'm interviewing today. So go ahead, Jonathan. You can tell our friends who you are.
Thanks for having me on, man. I really have enjoyed your friendship, Tim, and also just like it's rare to find uh, peers that like people who are pastors, but just like crazy about disciple making. I thought I was pretty crazy about disciple making, but you might be crazier. So yeah, I'm the executive pastor of ministries at a church called The Table in the greater Pittsburgh region. And we like to say each week we scatter throughout the region in groups called tables. And on Sundays, we come to the table of Jesus to celebrate what God's doing and to hear from the Holy Spirit. So our minute, like we are really focused on disciple making, and that can have some challenges over the summer. So I love what you're doing on this podcast. And that's been something that we've been really leaning into as well at the table. Like, how do we lean into the rhythms of disciple making, like with like just the flow of how a year goes? Like, what are the natural rhythms that we can follow into? So we've been working on that a bit.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Jonathan is awesome from Pennsylvania. So, everyone who knows that I always say everyone from Pennsylvania is better. But that's besides the
It's
point.
true, and we all know it, but especially Pittsburgh. But I think it's just because we have like an inferiority complex because our city is not like a real metropolitan city. So we're a little got the Napoleon
Compared to the
complex
rest of
happening.
Pennsylvania, it is.
That's true.
So,
That's true. That's true.
comparatively speaking. So, yeah, I'm excited. I've known him for a while and just excited to have someone else who knows a lot about disciple making and is trying to live it out in their own church as well. And so I'm going to ask Jonathan, I think we have two episodes we're going to do. So this is part
hmm
one. If you like it, come to part two. If you don't like it, you might like part two. So come to that one anyway.
It'll be better, I promise.
Well, hopefully it will be better. But he's going to give us a little tidbit to kind of chew on. I'll ask some questions about how we can integrate this into the rhythms of summer where we're away from work, maybe if we have kids or if we're in school or in college, things are just a little bit more disruptive. And if you're not careful, we kind of fall out of good habits and good practices. And so,
hmm
Jonathan, you can take it away and I'll pause you once in a while to pull
Yeah.
out some of the good nuggets that you're going to be dropping.
Great. So yeah, kind of where I want to start is like I am a person that is really like goal driven. I love to achieve something. And that I think can be like a bit of a shadow side sometimes in ministry because I'm very driven. I often want to see things that are produced, and so I will work out of that from like my own striving rather than like trusting in God for that. So just like from a missional perspective, sometimes I can feel like I'm like forcing something rather than letting the spirit be the leader in that. But that's been so there's been like a learning curve that I've had over the past several years as just being a person who loves being missional. One of the core practices that I've really started to engage in and help encourage those in my church to do is prayer walking. I started this when I was in the city of Pittsburgh, especially around the time of the pandemic. I always loved going on walks. I had a dog that I would walk for like miles every day. But then when my dog passed away, I still like needed to go out. So my wife will always say like, we need to take you out for your walk. Like if I'm getting too stressed out and anxious and that kind of thing. So I'd go out on walks and I just like would naturally, because I was in the city of Pittsburgh, I'm like looking at people where I'm in this like small church where we're really trying to like make an impact, make a difference in our community. We want it to we want it to matter. Like if our church closed, like would it matter to anyone else? And like those were ideas that were just like kind of sitting with me. And so as I started to like always walk through my area, it was just always a beautiful area to walk around. I'm an extrovert, so I love seeing people. And then just like being able to pray over the area or even just like listening to God became a really important thing to me. And then actually in the pandemic, I started bike riding as well. And so I would go on these huge bikes all around the city of Pittsburgh, just praying over the city. And it really had this way of changing my heart. Like I found myself not drifting into that striving. I felt like I was really seeing with spiritual eyes and also like lamenting the brokenness of the city. And so that's the kind of thing that'll drive you to action. But it's also like kind of the first part of being missional is the
Yeah.
heart.
Mhm.
It's who we are in the heart level. And so there's this scene in Luke 19 where Jesus has just come into Jerusalem. Like the triumphal entry happens. He's on his donkey. People are shouting Hosanna. And then after like this cheering crowd peak high moment, Jesus starts weeping over the city. Like he is praying through tears over Jerusalem. He's weeping for the destruction that they're headed to because they're just like so stubborn and don't listen to God. And and like that weeping over Jerusalem moment, I think is such an important part of our own discipleship. Like if you many times in the church, we can fall into what Jesus always warns us about of like hypocrisy, like finger wagging and like people aren't doing what they should be doing, all schools aren't doing what they should be doing, people aren't running this city the way they should be running it, and like we can sometimes develop this heart that's like not the heart of God
Mhm.
because God is for people. And when you start to pray over your city or your neighborhood, like it just starts to help develop the heart of God. Now, mind you, on these prayer walks, I'm not asking people if they need prayer. Sometimes I would, like if I felt like the Spirit was prompting me to, but most of the time I'm not doing that. And then I also just started to notice this was like a great thing to do with my groups. Take people out, and even this is like a family-friendly activity. You can do it with kids.
Yeah.
You can help them, but it's really just driven by like listening and asking God, like, God, what are you already doing? How do you want me to pray over here? And so one of like kind of the ways I like to think of it is we're praying blessings in and we're praying like spiritual opposition out. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the big
So
theme
would you say
of
you were
what we're
like
doing.
your kind of prayer walking is like praying over the space,
Yeah.
um, like in the spiritual realm, but also like so people can see your presence, but also, I mean, there's kind of like this mix of trying to have the heart of God, like how the heart of
Hmm.
Jesus. Is that kind of like your take on prayer walking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, it's really like how if you want to be sent as an everyday missionary, you have to have the heart of Jesus towards the like his heart towards people that are sheep without a shepherd, like they're harassed and helpless. Like that compassion
Hmm.
is so important because it means you're going to be willing to like lay down stuff in order to serve
Yeah.
the people
And you
around
can't
you.
see the pain potentially when you're driving in your car, when you're going 40, 65 miles an hour.
Oh my
It's easier to
gosh.
see the crime. It's easier to see the hurt, the loneliness and the struggle when you're kind of slowing down and you can see the houses, you can see the people at a more like more intentional way, right? Would you say that as well?
Yes, 100%. And I'll also say, so like my wife and I moved out of the city, which was like a huge deal for me. I'm a city guy. I love, well, Pittsburgh, whatever kind of a city Pittsburgh is, that's the kind of guy I am. I loved living in the city, just like close proximity to people, a lot of diversity, just like my extrovert heart was like so happy there. When we moved out to the suburbs, I had grown up in the suburbs and I felt a little like jaded about it. I was a little bit been there, done there, but been there, done that. And part of it was I'm like, man, people in the suburbs, they can know each other for like 20 years, their next door neighbor, and they don't even know their first name.
Yeah.
And And so when I first moved out to the area, I recognized I did not have Jesus's heart for this
Mm,
place. Um, I had to pray, like, Jesus, will you give me a heart for these people? And especially in a suburban context, the lostness, the brokenness is so much more hidden,
mm-hmm.
because we're good at like presentation in the
Yeah.
suburbs. You know what I mean? Like,
And
that's what it's all about.
wealth can cover a multitude of
That's right.
issues, or at least it can
That's
hide
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like praying through my neighborhood these past couple of years has been so helpful for me. And what I'll say is, um, I've been prayer walking in my neighborhood now for like just over 2 years, and I have just started to see spiritual activity happening. Meaning, like,
Wow.
I'm now hanging out in my neighbors' backyards. Like, we're starting to make connections. We're about to start making some invitations for people to come over that like we want to invest in relationships with them. But it's been a lot of just like walking and waiting.
So, I mean,
And
we say in
yeah.
Oakdale, but we've stolen from someone else. Prayer is the work. Prayer, you're not
Yes.
praying.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do a lot of work to put in the soil to turn it over and to till it and everything. Yeah.
That's right. Our lead pastor, Christy, she says prayer is mission.
Yeah.
And so, and really, it's like for us, it is the starting point of mission,
Yeah.
what, not just for us, but like that's how spiritual
That's
movement
awesome.
happens.
Yeah. So,
And so this summer, we actually put out an initiative for like, we just 2 weeks into summer prayer walk initiative for our congregation. And so our goal is for 1,000 prayer walks to happen. So like any person that does a prayer walk, we count that. So, and we have like a little way of doing that on our app and our webpage. And so people are like posting in pictures, they're going with their groups, they're doing this. But the whole point of this is to ignite our hearts for Jesus's mission and to fill the neighborhoods and everyday places that we go to. We want to fill those places with God's presence and power. Like there's a certain like breaking of the spiritual soil that we believe is happening when this is taking place. And this is so portable because it goes wherever we are. So we can be on mission wherever we are. So
yeah.
whether it's on your vacation spot, you can pray over that area. You can pray over your neighborhood. You can go to a park. There was a woman who shared a testimony last week because I was in a group with her, and she shared with me. She's like, "Yeah, well, we rolled out this initiative, and they're always used to us like pointing people to mission." And she's like, "Okay, this is what we're doing now."
Yeah.
And she had never done a prayer walk before, and she said, I was kind of apprehensive about this because I didn't even know what to pray. Like, I know you said to listen and just hear God's voice, but like, I didn't know what to pray. But so one of her things that she does every day when she goes on a walk is she has like this worship playlist. So she just like swipes her finger up so that it scrolls real fast, and then wherever she puts her finger down on that song, that's like kind of her like devotional song of the day kind of thing. Well, the song she landed on was this song called Broken Prayers, and it's basically the idea of like, God, you're in my broken prayers. Like, I don't need to have the perfect words, I just
Yeah.
need to be honest with
Mm.
you. And so she said like just that helped prepare her heart, but then she walked into a park that she's always in all the time, but now she's starting to engage her imagination, like seeing kids in her mind's eye, like on the playground, on benches, in the shelter, families in the shelters. Like it was a transformative moment for her.
That's
Like
awesome.
you could feel the weight of it as she shared. And so, yeah, I think this can really be a game changer in terms of seeing your everyday places the way that God does. Um, but also it's a way for like summer is such a good season for mission.
Hmm.
Um, and so this in a lot of ways prepares us for like in Pittsburgh, whenever the fall comes, or like especially winter. By winter we're all hibernating, so we just like gradually get more insular as the year goes on. And but those times can often be like good times to start new. uh
And so this,
yeah,
you would say the
go ahead.
summertime prayer walking is great because it's warm out, maybe not ridiculously warm. This week in DC, it's like 100 and plus.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's besides the point. Summer, it's a good time to
yeah.
prayer walk because you actually want to be outside. There's actually
Uh-huh.
people outside to see and to engage. It's not covered in snow. There's not leaves covering things. Like I think the point of like the gospel on the go is summertime is we have different rhythms, and I think we spend more. Most people, I guess the ones we're listening to us would probably say we spend more time outside in the summer months, and so what better
Yeah.
time than to prayer walk over a place? And even some people, when they prayer walk, we encourage some people to have the engagement, like the go and ask if they need prayer, or
Yep.
go and have a spiritually obvious conversation. You release more people to run into, and so even if you're not praying over the space, but you're engaging with people, summertime is great. And I would also add that you can still practice prayer walking even if you're not at home. Now,
Yep.
granted, you won't. You can still ask for God's heart and Jesus's heart to see the space and ask the Holy Spirit, but it's still something you can still practice on the beach. You can practice at Disney World. I don't know why you do it there. Probably a little bit hard, but before the parks open, you can walk
It's a
around.
dark spiritual place, you know.
Yeah. Don't say that. Some people will come after you.
I know.
I'm just teasing. You can do
I'd
it.
be a Disney adult if I could be. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
You can
jealousy.
do it when you're in the mountains, right? You can still practice this habit.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your mission field for more than a few days, but it's still something you can hone in and do no matter where you are. And I think that's the beauty of why it's important for us to do it while we're on the go during the summertime. It's
Yeah.
transferable.
And you never, I mean, like, wherever we are is where mission goes. Like, all the time in the book of Acts, like, Paul has one mission field in mind and then God redirects him. So, the other thing I love about being on a vacation in those kind of spaces is if you ask for someone to prayer, if you ask someone if they need prayer for anything, there's an amount of boldness you can have because you can, like, you're never going to see them again. You're just some random person, and the worst thing that could happen is you're just like weird to them.
Yeah.
In a neighborhood context, my goal is to build relationships so that we can get to a point of
Yeah.
spiritual conversation. That's why I'm not like super big on it there. We do have like a city ministry in our church, and so like that is more something that. So I don't think that's like any hard and fast rules, but there's general principles. But just the practice of prayer walking in and of itself is super practical. So just to make a little bit of a plug,
Yeah.
if you're looking for resources on this, we have a whole web page on it right now, table.org/prayer walk.
Awesome.
So
Thank you
that's our
so much.
webpage for it. So
Table.org/prayer walk.
you got it.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, this is one of our episodes on Gospel on the Go. Thank you, Jonathan, for tuning in. You're going to see him next week as we talk about something else that you can do during summertime. But if you have any questions, comments, you want to yell at Jonathan about his Disney remarks, you can always email me at tparker@oakdale.church. You can always comment below. You can share. We just want this to be a tool. We'd love to have an open conversation with you and try to help you as you maybe to potentially want to prayer walk by yourself or even with a group. So we hope you have a good day and can't wait to see you next week.